Get the shot set up here. Hey guys, I'm going to talk about my experience at E3, mainly regarding Splinter Cell Blacklist. A lot of you guys have been asking me about what my thoughts are, and I was tweeting about it a little bit when I was actually at the event. So I figured I'd give you my thoughts on that. So yeah, we got to the event on Monday when all the press conferences were going on. We weren't really invited to, like, you know, the Microsoft or Sony or those press conferences. The only one we were invited to was the Nintendo one. So that was Tuesday. So we got there on like Monday afternoon, and we went and grabbed our badges and stuff, and then checked into the hotel. And I pretty much passed out early that day. I hadn't heard really any news from the announcements at the conferences, so I was pretty much in the dark. When I woke up the next day, James had told me they had announced Splinter Cell, a new Splinter Cell game. And the thing he told me right off the bat was that it wasn't the same voice actor. You guys might know the voice actor who's been voicing Sam Fisher since the first Splinter Cell game, Michael Ironside. He's done the voice for all the games up to this point. So I was kind of confused at that point, so I looked up the trailer for the game on my phone and watched a little bit of it, but I had really poor reception and it was loading all slow, and I was watching it in parts. And so I really didn't get to see much of it, and I couldn't really tell who was who watching the trailer on my phone. Later we were walking around the floor, and I ended up seeing the booth for Splinter Cell Blacklist, well, the Ubisoft booth area, and they had a specific, thing for Splinter Cell Blacklist. So I was like, ooh, I want to check that out. So we ended up, that was like the first thing we actually waited in line to see, because I was really excited for it. It was right across from Resident Evil 6, and James wanted to check that out, but we all kind of agreed to go see Splinter Cell first, and we ended up seeing Resident Evil either the second day or third day. We got in line, and I was sitting there waiting, and we were talking, and I heard people talking behind me, and I turned around, and I saw a guy in the Splinter Cell shirt, like the Ubisoft Splinter Cell Blacklist shirt, talking to a couple of people waiting in line right in front of us. And I just stood there for a second, kind of like looking at the guy, and he looked at me for a second, and I just kept looking back at him like I didn't know what it was like. I'm just standing here like, yep. And he looked at my name badge, and my name badge just said my name, Daniel Gidlow, and he looked at me and he said, Danz Newz. And I'm like, you know who I am. What? Kind of thing. It was really awesome. I did not expect that to happen at all. The gentleman I was talking to was Zach Cooper. He's the community developer, director guy for Ubisoft Toronto, specifically, I guess, regarding Splinter Cell Blacklist. So it was awesome that he knew who I was. And he had said he used to be a journalist, and he was hired on to Ubisoft Toronto, several months ago or whatever. And that he knew of me through my Conviction playthrough, because I did a Splinter Cell Conviction playthrough on my channel. And so yeah, that caught me really off guard. But we sat there and talked a little bit, and he asked me what I had seen on the game, and I told him that I completely missed the announcement, hadn't seen the demo, just saw what I saw in the trailer. And I had a few questions for him, and I asked him when the game took place, because Sam, from what I saw, looked kind of younger. From what I saw later, he looks more in line with what he did in Conviction. I just couldn't really tell on my little phone. But I was confused where it took place in the timeline, and he told me it takes place, months and months after Conviction. It's a direct sequel. Oh, I have a cut there. I just noticed I have like a cut there. Where did that come from? Anyway, but yeah, he told me it takes place after, and then obviously I had the question of why they changed voice actor from Michael Ironside. At that point, I had no idea if he was involved with the project or not, or if there was like some sort of falling out. Like, I didn't know what why the change. And he explained it to me as they are doing a complete kind of performance capture thing. If you've seen Planet of the Apes or Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Uncharted, they do the same thing. Uncharted, I believe so. I believe they do performance capture. Maybe they don't. Do they? I don't know too much about performance capture being used for video games yet. But it's pretty much where they're just the actor is wearing a motion capture suit with a camera rig, so they can digitally pretty much recreate their performance in the cutscenes and stuff and blah 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 blah. But you know, he was telling me that you know, Michael Ironside, you know, he's an older guy and he has 2 bum knees. I actually watched an interview with him like just yesterday, and he was talking about how he has like titanium knees. He's had both of his knees replaced, so he wouldn't really be up to doing the performance capture. And obviously, Sam Fisher is no knock against Michael Ironside. Sam Fisher is a bit more agile than Michael Ironside, but Michael Ironside is still badass. Yeah, so that was the main reason behind the change, was that they'd be able to do a complete performance capture. And a lot of people have a problem with this. I don't so much. I pretty much told them right there, is if the game's good, you know, I'm not going to be, you know, too miffed over it. I've never been too worked up over actor changes. Sometimes there's a... Yeah, I've never really been worked out. I was about to say sometimes I might be, but like, you know, you guys know I'm a big Batman fan, and Batman the Animated Series, Kevin Conroy is the voice of Batman for me, much like Michael Ironside's the voice of Sam Fisher. Every once in a while they'll do something where it's not Kevin Conroy doing the voice. More recently, Batman Under the Red Hood, they didn't have Kevin Conroy doing the voice for Batman. And there wasn't necessarily a reason to recast him. It's just, I guess that's what they decided to do for that project. Sometimes there's a reason, and sometimes, you know, it's a bit of variety. I don't mind it. Like, I really don't mind it. And I love Batman Under the Red Hood. You know, they switched up voice actors on there. And that, for me, turned out excellent. I love Batman Under the Red Hood. So, you know, I don't get all worked up over it like some people are. I understand there's an argument to be made on both sides. A lot of people, I've seen people say they could still do the, you know, motion capture thing, but still have Michael Ironside do the voice. I understand what they're kind of trying to go for. They're kind of trying to go for capturing the entire performance pretty much in one go, while, you know, capturing the motion, capturing the voice, capturing kind of the atmosphere of doing it live. In the Splinter Cell series, you know, it's not the first time they've changed a voice. I remember in the second Splinter Cell, Pandora Tomorrow, they switched out the voice of Lambert with Dennis Haysbert, the Allstate guy. So I thought that was actually kind of weird, a weird switch. But yeah, just for that one, it's Dennis Haysbert, and then they go back to the original voice actor from, you know, the first game to the third and fourth and actually fifth, who plays Lambert. So you know, it's not necessarily the first time it's happened during the series, but yeah, I'm not angry about it. Yeah, so I talked to him a little bit. He went off and we waited in line a bit longer. And the thing was, it was like a 15-minute presentation kind of thing of the demo, a live presentation of the demo, and we were just sitting there waiting, and there was like maybe 30 people ahead of us, probably more than 30. But the line wasn't too huge, but we just kind of had to, we would move a chunk and then wait, and then move a chunk and then wait. And we had to wait about maybe about 3 cycles or so. We were waiting about maybe into 45 minutes to an hour. And he kept coming out every once in a while and talking to us. And he took a picture for Twitter and tweeted it from the Splinter Cell thing. And I just felt like I was like, you know, being kind of given the VIP treatment. It was really cool, and I wasn't used to kind of being treated that way. So it was really cool. He actually brought out the creative director of Blacklist and Conviction, Maxime Belland. I feel stupid pronouncing his name. Belland. I'm not pronouncing his name right. But yeah, so he brought out Maxime Belland. I'm gonna stop. Maxim. Max. I'm gonna call him Max. I feel stupid calling him Max, but he brought out Max, and it was so, like, it was weird seeing him in real life, because I remember him from the Conviction developer diaries, where he was always saying, "We want Sam to be like a panther." And I just remember him saying panther, panther. And so that's going through my head the entire time. It's like panther, panther, panther. It was really dumb. But it was awesome getting to talk to him. He asked me, I felt so stupid. I felt dumb that I hadn't seen the presentation for the demo or the trailer or anything on the game, because he was asking me, you know, what I thought he was asking me if I had seen anything, and I told him that, and so like I couldn't really give him my thoughts on the game because I hadn't seen anything. But he was talking about the game a little bit, and the guys next to me, the guys who were waiting in line, were kind of talking back and forth to him a little bit, and I just felt so like. I felt kind of dumb because Zach brought him out to meet me, and these guys know more, next to me know more about what's going on with this game than I do. So I felt kind of dumb, but at the same time, it was awesome meeting him. Got to shake his hand. It was really cool. Yeah, we got in. We got to see the game. I was talking to James before we went in. When we went into the Rockstar line at PAX East for Max Payne 3, and when he was playing the game, he had the biggest grin on his face. And they were saying they were going to keep an eye on me to see if I had like some sort of grin on my face when I was watching the thing. But I didn't like have like a stupid grin on my face like I might be a kid. But it was still really awesome. I still really enjoyed the demo that they showed, and it was the first time I had seen any of it because it was the same. They were saying it was the same demo they showed at the presentation, but extended. And from what I've seen, it looks really good. It looks like an upgraded version of Conviction. They have like different mechanics. Well, the same mechanics, but refined and changed. The big thing they were talking about was killing in motion, which is pretty much mark and execute, but you can continue moving while executing, so you don't stop and shoot people. You're still moving and shooting people, and you can set up the next mark and execute situation or whatever. And that seemed really interesting. So Zach also assured me that there were going to be more stealth elements added into the game later. He was saying obviously the demo is a lot more action oriented, but even from the demo they had a couple things from the old games, like the cutting the tent. Because there was a tent up and you cut the back. That was something like from Chaos Theory. I don't know if they, yeah, that was something introduced in Chaos Theory. I don't think they had that in Pandora Tomorrow or Splinter Cell, but it was funny seeing those kind of things in the newer games. So hopefully, like you said, they'll be announcing more stealth things down the line. So hopefully more stealthy, fun stuff. I mean, Conviction had stealth moments, plenty of stealth moments. So there was definitely a stealth lean on the game. It wasn't necessarily as focused as it was in earlier games, but I don't know. Like, I'm a purist sometimes, but not always. So, and well, generally not always. So, I don't get all up in arms as long as it's good. As long as like I'm fine with things evolving. I would say a problem with, like James talks about the Resident Evil series, how it's gotten more actiony. I wouldn't see that as a problem as long as the story stays consistent and good. I don't mind the change in genre, but I kind of fell off with Resident Evil, not because it switched to action, but because the story got really convoluted for me. And so hopefully Blacklist keeps the story pretty straight. That's the best adjective I can think of. As long as it keeps it consistent with the rest of the games, I'm fine with that. As long as the story's good. That's the biggest thing for me with the Splinter Cell games. Obviously, gameplay mechanics, it's a game, so whatever. But, I'm more invested in the Splinter Cell games for the story. Conviction, I think, kind of flipped. Well, I think Conviction and Double Agent really kind of turned the universe on its head with the Splinter Cell games, because they took Sam Fisher, who was always kind of a used, worn tool for the U.S. government, and made him a lot more of a fleshed out character. He was always a fleshed out character, but the first three games, all you're doing is going around, following orders, following leads, and trying to stop, global annihilation, pretty much. And I think Chaos Theory was the first one that, well, they kind of had some personal elements in the second game, but I think Chaos Theory was kind of one that introduced more Sam and his, conscience influencing the missions and everything. I don't know. Now I'm going off on a tangent, but yeah, like Conviction and Double Agent really kind of flipped the universe over because they, killed Sam's daughter, and that really kind of made him suicidal and stuff. In Double Agent, he was pretty much willing to go on the most dangerous mission possible. And it turns out in Conviction that was a lie. There was a mole that Lambert had found out. There was a mole inside Third Echelon, and that was the reason why they made it seem like his daughter was dead, so that she'd be out of harm's way, and Sam would be able to, they'd be able to investigate the mole and all that stuff, and Sam was off doing the really kind of dangerous mission, and then Lambert never found the mole before Sam killed him. So I mean, it's such a good story. Like, that's, as long as they continue that, I'm fine with the voice change. So yeah. But anyway, so that was something else Zach was asking me, was how long I've been involved in the kind of Splinter Cell universe, or how long I've been playing the games and stuff like that. And I've been playing since the first game. I think I first started playing the games after Chaos Theory came out. Is when I started playing them. I had always wanted to play them, but I was poor. I couldn't really afford games, and I didn't have a PlayStation until my brother ended up buying my neighbor's PlayStation 2 off of him. So I wasn't able to play it until he did that, and then I just rented the games, and then I just played them one after the other, and I loved them. I figured I would, because I had seen a lot of stuff on the games. I had seen gameplay, I had read reviews and stuff, and I love the Tom Clancy universe because I'm a big Tom Clancy fan, going pretty far back too. So, you know, I love those kind of paramilitary, kind of espionage, international story stuff. Like, that stuff is, I don't know, this was my favorite kind of stories. Outside of whodunits, I love whodunits. And then there's a bit of element of that sometimes in the Splinter Cell things, like the book series. I've read up to Fallout in the book series. It's like right before Conviction, and then I think there's one after that called Endgame, but I haven't read any of those. But I've read the first 4 of the Splinter Cell books, and there's a bit of a whodunit kind of thing. Not whodunit, but there's a reveal of who's kind of behind the stuff in one of the books. But yeah, so that was pretty much all the stuff, the Splinter Cell stuff. But it was really, really awesome getting to meet Maxim Belland. I feel dumb saying it wrong, but it was fun meeting him, fun meeting Zach Cooper, the community developer, and it was fun just seeing the game played right in front of me. That was really cool, and I can't wait to play it when it comes out, and I can't wait to see what else they have in store. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe I'll hear from them at some point and might get to do something special involving the game. I have no idea, but that'd be really cool. And I actually got to, Zach asked me if it was alright if he could interview me after looking at the game. And I did get to do a little interview. He asked me my thoughts. And one of the last question he asked me was what Danz would think of the game. And I said to him, and I ended up botching the saying it or whatever, because I was just like so caught off guard that he even knew who Danz was. And I said, it looks like Sam Fisher is supplying a sufficient amount of justice. But I ended up messing it up, so even if they did end up posting a video, that might be wasted. So, but yeah, so thanks for watching this. Let me know what you guys think about the whole Splinter Cell Blacklist thing. I'm sure not everybody, like, I've seen comments on the video that they released on Ubisoft's channel about the switching of the character and stuff like that. A lot of the comments and the like to dislike ratio is pretty wide. The divide seems to be pretty big when it comes to fans and the switch in voice acting. But I mean, this is coming from a longtime Splinter Cell fan. Michael Ironside will always be Sam Fisher, but I'm fine with new actors coming on and kind of making their mark. I kind of see it as almost like a Bond thing. You know, I love Sean Connery, I love Roger Moore as Bond. I actually like Timothy Dalton as Bond. I like Pierce Brosnan as Bond. I like Daniel Craig as Bond. And nobody knows who George Lazenby is, so I'm not even going to mention him. But, you know, I'm fine with other actors coming in, kind of putting their stamp on the role. So, yeah, that's my take on it. So, thanks for watching.